Hi. It is the 16th of April, and I am here with a story to share today. Um, there's fireworks outside for some reason, so I don't think you'll be able to hear that, but why are there fireworks at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday in April? But it's not Wednesday. Oh my gosh, it's Thursday. I digress. Um, So today's topic is going to be a little difficult to talk about, but I believe that it's really important. And so I'm going to do it. Um, I do want to set a little bit of context, and this will also kind of um, help you understand, um, just give you some context for the main thing that I want to talk about. Um, so in December of 2024, um, I lost my fancy corporate job that I had. Um, I took a risk with something that I wasn't sure if it would pay off or not, and it didn't. Um, but things were so bad. Uh, at that job in that role with that supervisor that I had to do something different. And so I took a chance on myself, didn't work, totally fine. Um, I um, attempted to take the idea that I was trying to give to GoDaddy, um, which essentially was experimentation for small businesses, which logically makes sense given that their audience is small businesses and experimentation is something that they had kind of established. And anyhow, if it's ever built, it just won't be built by me. But yeah, that was my idea. Um, I attempted to take that idea and turn it into reality during the first quarter of last year. Um, I I think I've shared like I really believe in experimentation and had enough contacts and things like that I would have been able to pull things together relatively easily. The problem, which I didn't know until the end of March, was that my heart wasn't in it. Um, it was simply the idea that I was going to give to GoDaddy and not something that I was meant to create. Because in creating that, I basically would have created the same thing in myself that I was trying to get away from, um, with leaving the corporate world. I have really had some challenges with bosses over the years. Those are stories for other times. But I was like, I need to manage myself, right? Like I knew I can manage myself. I that will take away the stress of dealing with others. Um, but I just kept dragging my feet. Um, there were other things that I would find to do as opposed to working on the business that I was supposedly creating. So I kept distracting myself. Not that they were bad things that I was choosing to do, just not the thing that was going to make money. Um, so anyhow, yeah, it was the end of March. I went to a conference, a SHRM conference, that's the Society for Human Resources Management. For those of you that don't know, they had a big conference here in Nashville. I was a guest of a friend that was there, and in attending, I I came to the realization that I didn't actually want to create that business. So anyhow, I think I've shared enough there. Cue April. Um, the beginning of April for me was the worst depression I have ever experienced in my life. I was sleeping 12, 14 hours a day. Um, I regularly would have this giant weighted blanket that I have over top of me because I just wanted to melt into the floor. Um, it was hard for me to eat at the time. I really was um, if I think about it, I was caught up in a lot of shame, shame from the decisions that I had made over the course of the previous 4 or 5 months. And um, I reached a point on this date last year that the only thing that I could think of to do to rectify the situation and fix things was to kill myself. And um, I obviously am still here. I'm good. Um, I decided to take a drive that day and ended up at the lake near my house and just kind of sat there for a little bit. And I felt my mindset changing um, just by being in nature, which was great. Um, but yeah, it was a very dark time for me. Um, I would say that I didn't really start coming out of that for a month or two, not the suicidality, but the weight of the depression and the things that I was going through. Um, yeah, I just I felt like all of my worth as a person was gone. Um, which is really hard. Um, I lived the corporate lifestyle for quite a while and it was so difficult. Um, I spent most of my time masking and wondering why I didn't fit in. Um, so yeah, it really this time last year um was kind of the death of the me that existed and the rebirth of the person that I am today. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of other context that I can share, um, with that story and with others, but I did just want to get that out there. I um, have not talked about this with many people at all. But literally one person, I think. And I know that the collective weight of what everyone is going through, whether that be guilt or shame or, whatever it is, like we're all being weighed down by something right now, and that weight can really start to take a toll. Um, and so for me, really the last year has been about figuring out, what part of my identity that I identified with do I want to shed now that it's my choice and I don't want to mask anymore. So what do I want to get rid of? And in place of that, who is it that I want to be and how do I want to live my life? And I will share, I took really the remainder of last year to rest. Um, I started working for the family business when I was 12 and have been working since then. So my pivotal burnout moment slash identity midlife crisis happened at 37, 25 years after I started working, which, if I think about it, most midlife crises are around like early 40s, mid 40s. And so it seems to be around 25 years after uh is that right? 25 years? 30 to 20. Yeah, yeah. No? Good Lord. Anyhow, 37. Okay, well now I have to do math. Yeah. Yeah, 25 years. Okay. Um, anyhow, I know everyone's going through a lot right now, regardless of what your beliefs are, who you follow politically, what religion you are, if you are religious. We all end up in places like this based on the experiences that we've had in our lives. And I believe it's up to us to look at our lives, over the lifespan of our lives to date and really see what it is that we want out of life, what a meaningful life might look like. And, if there were no barriers and no restrictions and no, needing to fit in and things like that, like what, how would you show up in the world? Um, because I think right now a lot of people are showing up as things that aren't necessarily themselves because that's what they believe they have to do to get by. And honestly, that's true sometimes. But that's terrible that we've created a society where someone, you know, can end up changing parts of themselves just to fit into the mold wherever it is, whether that be work or marriage or family, other family stuff. Like we all have um, those things in our life that our identity kind of ties to. So anyhow, do you want to just do a quick mention? If you are in the US and you are struggling with thoughts of suicide, the hotline is 988. Um, I've heard mixed reviews on it. Um, yeah, I'm going to end with a quote, of course. Um, Yesterday's calendar page really fits in with the topic today. Yes, you are imperfect, but your quirks and cracks are the things that make you so astoundingly, breathtakingly you. Yes, you make mistakes, but my God, there is something spectacular in the way you don't let it take you down. You get back up every time you fall, and you come back wiser for it. And if being a strong yet soft human with a hopeful heart isn't something worth being unapologetic about, then I don't know what is. Kirsten Robinson. Hmm. Okay, wherever you are, um, watching this, whenever it is, I hope that you are doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. Um, Surround yourself with people that have your best interest in mind, and just know that what you're experiencing right now, that there is an out to it. Um, it might not seem like it, um, but there's always another side. So please stay. I'll talk to you soon.